Good Monday morning, traders. How are we doing today? Hopefully you guys are all doing very well. My name is Jason Krutzky, and we are live for another TrendSpider office hours session. Hopefully everybody that is tuned in right now had a fantastic long weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed the shortened trading week last week, and you got to go out and touch some grass with your families, maybe hunt some Easter eggs. I don't know what you did, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a great long weekend. And we're back and we're refreshed this first day of quarter 2, 2024. It's a pleasure to be with you guys this morning. For anybody who's tuned in, who has never tuned in to a TrendSpider office hours session, these sessions are for you. We've got our Easter sale going on right now. There is, I think, 1 day remaining, according to the countdown timer on our website. And you can save up to 64% off your first year with us here at TrendSpider. If you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking about getting an account, now is the time to take advantage of this killer deal. And if anybody is tuned in right now who is brand new to the platform, perhaps you just signed up this weekend, this show is for you. You know, there's a lot going on the platform. There's a lot of tools that you can utilize, and we can't expect you to know them all, how to use them all in your first short amount of time using the platform. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. I see that there are a few of you in the audience right now. If you're here, please say hello, introduce yourself. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Let me know what you've got your eyes on this morning. What are you watching? What are you trading? And most importantly, what are you curious about? What do you want to learn about on TrendSpider? What can I teach you? We're here for an hour hanging out. And my goal is to leave you guys walking away with, a little bit of extra understanding about how to use the platform. Maybe we can build some scans, or we can talk through how to utilize a particular tool that you might be interested in. I'm completely open. There are no rules here with this show. We can do whatever it is that you guys want to do. But I need you. Y'all need to tell me what you're interested in, what you're looking at. As you can see on my chart, I was looking at Bitcoin this morning. Interesting rejection of those previous highs back in March. So, bulls things are getting a little dicey here for the bulls right now. You really wanted to see those highs get gained, and unfortunately they did not. But, we had a big quarter last quarter. Let me grab this. I don't know if anybody is currently signed up. If you are not, even if you're not a TrendSpider trader, you can sign up to our weekly market update blog. I'm going to pull this up really quick. And this is just kind of a small piece of what we share. This goes on our blog, but then we also have an actual mailing list that has tons of extra data on it. I'm going to go ahead and, so you guys have this, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you here. If anybody is interested in getting weekly updates, weekly market updates, and this thing is expansive. Like, there's a lot of information inside of this thing. If you're interested in signing up, it's free. There is no restrictions. You can just sign up and receive those direct market updates directly into your email inbox every Sunday morning. But what I was looking at this past Friday when I was building out this update, these are the kind of 3 charts that I was looking at. This is the SPY monthly chart. Actually, I guess I could just pull it up, couldn't I? Or I'm sorry, it's the SPY quarterly chart. Go to it really quick. Here you go. So you've got the 1.382 fib extension from the quarter or the 2022 highs down to the October 2020, or rather the 2021 high down to the quarter 4 2022 lows. You've got the 1.382 fib extension just above at 528. Looks like they were trying to target that. SPY had the best quarter of the 3 major indices, up, I believe it was about 10.25%, something like that. Yeah, over 10%. And then it found, I think it had found some resistance, or found support rather. So previous quarter found support at the anchored VWAP from those previous all-time highs, and they just extended it higher. The Qs, very similar look, not as big of an extension. Oh yeah, also here on the SPY, you had RSI tipping its way right into that, just above 70. So just above that, you know, really strong RSI reading. First time we've seen that reading on RSI on the quarterly here on SPY since those previous all-time highs back in late 2021, early 2022. Qs, again, very similar look. You have that RSI breaking out above 70 and finding support, the anchored VWAP last quarter from the previous all-time highs, but then getting rejected at the 1.236 fib. So similar looks here, not quite as big of a move on the Qs, believe it or not, as on SPY. 8.42% from previous quarter close to last quarter close. And then on IWM, obviously not nearly as far along in the process, not quite to that 70 level on RSI. But did last quarter find support at the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs and got rejected at the 0.618 fib retracement from those highs down to the previous quarter low. So, and a move of almost 5%. So that's kind of where we're at on the quarter for anybody who's unsure of where we were headed out of quarter one 2024. That's kind of where we are, you know, like that look doesn't look all that extended, does it? Like once you put it in perspective in that time frame, doesn't look nearly as extended as some of the dailies or lower time frames do kind of look right now. So kind of interesting. What's up, Larry? How are you doing? Hope you're well. It's good to see you here again. You're interested in setting up a strategy where stock goes up by 5% and the next day it's up by 1 or 2%. Okay, so you want to see a 5% move in a day. You want to see a 5% move in a day and then another 1 or 2% the next day? Is that what you're saying? So we could definitely do that. I'm going to go to a stock that's actually kind of done something like that. So let's go to the daily here. I'm going to turn off some things just so that we can kind of see things a little bit more clearly. All right. So in order to define, these percentages that you're looking for, all you have to do is utilize price open and close. So for example, if you want to say that you closed 5% higher than you opened, you just say condition price close greater than price open by at least 5%, right? That gets you your 5% in a day from open to close. Now, do you want it in the day? Do you want it from open to close? Do you want it from low to close? Do you want it from low to high? These are all specifications that we need to define. There are no rules. You know, you can define whatever you want, whatever makes sense for you. But if you're just looking for close from open to close, then this is what you do. Price close greater than price open by at least 5%. If you wanted to cap it at 5%, you could say, let's see here, price close. I guess you could say, how would we do this? Well, we'll leave it at 5. We'll just keep it at that. But you said you wanted that to happen one candle ago because you want it to be up at least 1% on the day today, right? So this gets you at least 5% yesterday. And then you can say price close greater than price open by at least 1% today. You want it to show a continuation for the next day. Yeah. So at least 5% yesterday and at least 1% today. And then, you know, I don't know how you want to get out of this thing, but we'll say candles passed. We'll just use like, I don't know, 10 candles. I don't know, whatever makes sense to you. And let's see how many times this has happened on NVIDIA. My guess is for most names, it's probably pretty rare. So it actually has happened quite a few times over the past couple of years here on NVIDIA. Looks like 72 positions with a 50-50 win rate. Your average return on this idea is 1.38% 10 days later. So perhaps maybe you want to give it a little less time. I don't know what you're thinking about how you get out of this trade. But so the way that this works, you have the one candle ago. It was, you had a 5% move in a day. And then on the current candle, you have a 1% move, and then this gets you in the following day, right? So you have a 5% move one day, you have at least a 1% move the next day, and then the following day you're getting into the trade. That's how this is kind of positioned. So I don't know, what are you thinking about for getting out of this, Larry? And does this make sense to you how I did this? What's up, Chewy? Energy is rocking today. I will agree with you on that. Chewy, I want to show you something. I don't know if you were here the day that we were talking about it, but there's something very interesting about energy in election years in seasonality. As soon as I get done with getting Larry squared away here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But agree, it does look like no rate hikes this year. So Larry, if this is good for you, do you want me to send this to you so that you have it and then you can play around with it? I could send you just this script and then you could input whatever you want on the exit side, or I could just send you this whole strategy and then you can change up the exit to whatever makes sense for you. It would actually be kind of interesting if we switch this to 4 hours instead of daily. Just to get in a little bit faster, see if that would work. Yeah, no, it doesn't. All right. Not that the returns on this are really all that good anyway. But what this kind of seems like is maybe you want a... Yeah, okay, you want to send it. Okay, do you want just the script? Or do you want the strat? Do you have a preference? So we'll call this plus 5% and plus 1%. I'll just save this really quickly, and then you can do your thing with it. And hopefully, Larry, hopefully this all made sense to you. And, oh, you want the script? Okay, I'm not going to send you strat then. Let's save this as a template. We'll call it plus 5% and plus 1%. Oops. But yeah, what I was going to say is hopefully that all made sense to you, how I put that together, why I put it together the way that I did. Well, darn, why is this taking so long? Let me do this. So I'm going to send this instead. I'm going to send it as a scanner for you because that actually might make the most sense. Oops. Oops. Didn't mean to click clone there. And this way you can find all the names that are meeting that criteria right now. Here you go, Larry. And then, you know, this is going to yield potentially some names that you might not be super interested in, like things that cost 60 cents or 19 cents. It's going to yield a lot of that kind of garbage. So if you're not interested in those names, what you might also want to do is you might want to add something like a minimum price condition. So I'm say price close greater than a constant value of like $10. Right, by adding that condition, that filters out all of the penny stocks. And then this just gives you all of the, anything above 10 bucks that is meeting this criteria right now. Actually, does that make sense? And do you want that added to this script? Because I can just save it and then it'll update on your side too. Or you can add whatever makes sense for you. What's up, Fleet Cap? Does TrendSpider ever produce strats, indicator suggestions? Yeah, add it. Okay. Does TrendSpider ever produce strats, indicator suggestions, or anything else for trading NQ futures on a 1-minute chart? Well, I mean, we do have strategies that we share from time to time. As far as indicator suggestions, like if you follow, I don't know if you follow us on Twitter, Fleet, but if you do, sometimes we'll post strategy ideas there. We've got strategy ideas in our Discord as well. You can play around with stuff that we've shared in there. If you click on this little question mark and then join our official Discord server. I had heard they were talking about taking this private only to TrendSpider traders. I'm not sure if it's private right now. If you're not already signed up for the platform, take advantage of it if it's not, because I think it's supposed to get locked soon. But as far as like specific 1-minute NQ future strategies, nothing comes to mind that we've shared explicitly for that. But I mean, if you have ideas that you want to play around with, we can talk about it. Hit me with something. Let's do a little testing. Chewy. I'll show you something. So again, I don't know if anybody, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about this, but let me show you this. So this is just CDX, pretty well-known oil name. And if you click on exclude periods here in seasonality, election years, it's an election year. And election years are interesting for energy in particular. So if we exclude years 2023, I'm not going to say each one, but you can see what I'm doing here. Just slowly chipping away at getting rid of all the non-election years. Right? You see what I'm doing? So I'm saying excluding all of these years that are non-election years. And we could keep on going down the list if we wanted to. 1999, 1998, 1997, 1995. You see what's protruding? You see how gnarly of a bar that is for performance on CVX, this oil name? Your mean change, when you add mean change to this, 5.18%. On average, 5.18% to the upside in April's during election years for CVX. Well, let's add some other names here, like, I don't know, Oxy. Let's see what the deal is with Oxy. Not quite as good performance, but definitely the second highest mean change performance of the year is in April, 4.42%. We can go down the line here and kind of see. XLE, strongest performing month in election years, is April. 7.19% mean change in April during election years for XLE. Let's just, I don't know. Are there any, if there are any particular energy names you want to take a look at, Chewy, we definitely can. Same idea here. April, though it is not the strongest performing month of the election years, that distinction goes to December, but mean change, 6.95%. That is the highest mean change is in April. Trying to think of some other ones. XOM. Pretty clear. 83% win rate in April's on election years. 4.68% mean change in April's on election years. You're seeing kind of a thing that's coming to light here, right? Like, they all tend to perform pretty decent. Let me grab oil watch list. Just keep your eye on this seasonality. Here, you can see it on BP, 75% win rate, strongest performing month of an election year is April. Mean change, 4.95%. CNQ, same deal. COP, same deal. CVX, we talked about already. ENQR, same deal. FANG, same deal. It's nearly across the board. It's not every single oil name, but man, it's a lot of them. We've been talking about this for a moment. VLO, even though it's not the highest win rate, it is the highest mean change. So there's a lot here. It'd be cool if we could scan for seasonality. IE stocks that exceeded 75% up. Yeah, I agree with you. That would be awesome. And maybe that'll come. I really don't know. Actually, no, we can't. But one thing we can do, so I don't know if you guys have played around with this much yet. If you go to your indicators and type in date and time, you can actually define now days of the month, days of the week, month of the year, week of the month, week of the year. So like you can use these criteria as conditions within your scripts. So you could say specifically like, I want to use this long bias strategy just from March to May or whatever. Had a drop down with exclusions and or only view election years. Yeah, instead of having to label them or having to manually input them like that. I agree, that would be nice. What I would do for this to make this a little bit easier, I would just like copy this to a document. Just make a little doc and then you can copy paste. Agree though, it would be nice if we could, if you could just like very quickly, easily say only election years. Maybe something like that will come. But I really don't know. I want to look at this TNX too, Chewy. Let's see what Chewy is saying. What'd you say? 433. It's essentially right where we're stuck right now. It definitely is. You know what this looks like? This looks like some meme coins that I'm watching. I won't get into it, but that's what it looks like. It definitely is key. You would think though, I mean, just like kind of basic trend stuff, if this is your swing, right? You held a low, you made a higher low, meaning this low is higher than this one. So you wouldn't really expect this to fail, even though that's kind of what's happening right now. They're having trouble with this previous high. I would only really expect this to fail if they had made some serious new lows first. If they had taken out like these lows, this one and this one, and made some new lows, then I would have thought they might fail this 43.40 area. But this to me looks like it wants higher. So Chewy, presumably if this goes higher, I'm not a huge follower of these sorts of things. Obviously, this is suggesting rate hikes are not on the table, right? This is saying rate hikes or interest rates are going higher. Market so far has kind of shrugged that off, that reality off. Will it continue shrugging it off? No idea. Chewy likes them all. Yeah, I mean, me too. It's hard to deny, right? The data's there. I'm actually going to be making a little video about this here this week. Put something nice together for it. What else you guys got? Any other specific questions that you're curious about? There are a few of you here. If you're enjoying the stream so far, if you are not yet subscriber to the YouTube channel, please do like the stream and hit me with a subscribe. All of those things really do help, truly. We like to see the number going up and to the right. Those are two numbers that we want to see going up and to the right. And those numbers going up and to the right means that I get to keep doing these. So by y'all adding likes and subscribes means I get to keep doing these. So I appreciate it. But what else you got? Anything else you guys want to look at? Any curious questions? Fleet, do you want to play around with a strategy idea for NQ futures? Yeah, I've got a couple of them, Fleet. Let me share them with you. Yeah, I believe I made 3. Hold on. So here's one. This one's on supply and demand. Here's another on market structure. What indicator is it? Fleet. So those are the two that I would direct you to, Fleet, just initially. Supply and demand zones, and market structure basics, and then actually, let me show you one more. Well, actually, there are a couple. Volume profile. Super, 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 super helpful, in my opinion. Here's one on volume profile. And then here's one on Wyckoff accumulation distribution. These are all kind of facets of the same idea. Should give you something to chew on for a little bit at least. MMM fell out of bed this morning. Chewy, you trade a lot of different tickers, don't you? Looks like MMM's been falling out of bed for years. Whoa. Nadaraya Watson rational quadratic kernel. What on earth? I have never heard of such a thing. A Gaussian kernel on steroids. It's a type of kernel regression, which is a non-parametric method for estimating the curve of best fit for a data set. Unlike linear regression or polynomial regression, kernel regression does not assume any underlying distribution of the data for estimation. It uses a kernel function, which is a weighting function that assigns a weight to each data point based on how close it is to the current data point. How is this different from using a simple moving average? Okay, a moving average is actually a special type of kernel regression that uses a uniform kernel function. That means that all data points in the specified look-back window are weighted equally, okay? In contrast, rational quadratic kernel function used in this indicator assigns a higher weight to data points that are closer to the current point. So like a weighted moving average, like exponential. This means that the indicator will react more quickly to the changes in the data. Interesting. You know, I'd be curious. Be curious to know if you could convert this code, this Pine script, into Java. I don't know if you're aware of this or if you're familiar with this, but we do have JavaScript custom indicator editor right here. I am not the guy to talk to about going from Pine to Java, but you might be able to do a little chat GPTing and come up with something quickly. Or perhaps maybe one of our CS dudes is in the live stream right now and might be able to help you with it. Yeah, I mean, we might. I really don't know. You can always request it though, Fleet, too. Right here, if you click on the contact us button down in the bottom right-hand corner, say, hey guys, I love this indicator and I'm curious if any of y'all might be able to convert it. This is James, this guy right here. James is head of our CS team. And James has been doing some really creative stuff with JavaScript indicator creation. He's been making a bunch of stuff. So perhaps you can hit them up and see. Maybe it's something easier than I think it is. They might be able to do it for you in short order. I don't really know. Or perhaps, Fleet, if you are in our Discord, maybe you can ask in there. There might be somebody in there who might be willing to help you build it too. Worth a shot to get your favorite indicator on the platform. Or I guess you could Google search and see. Let me see. Let's try something actually. It's already, I can tell this is already getting out of my realm of knowledge. But it looks like Pine might be the only thing it's available in right now. Maybe the developer, I don't know, maybe the developer would be interested in converting it for you too, is another thought. If you talk to them, if you have an open dialogue with them, you could always reach out to the developer too. Just say, hey, it would be cool to have it. We have a TrendSpider marketplace now. They could sell it there. Let me get you that. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just looking for something really quick. Here you go, Fleet. Send that developer here. Show him this. What's up, Newts? Is it possible, or will it be possible, to filter the unusual options with a watch list? I'm not sure what you mean. Because you can filter unusual options right now. But I don't know what you mean by with a watch list. Let me show you this. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not. Right here where it says what's happening now. What's happening now is going to be where you can go to add all kinds of different feeds, data feeds. So if you want to filter unusual options, scroll down to where it says all unusual options, click that. So here are all unusual options. Live in the flesh as they're coming across the tape, but this is unfiltered. So it's every name, right? So then what you'd want to do is you'd want to come up to where it says date, time. Any of these columns, go up to the title column and click on the 3 dots right here, and then go to filter and add a filter, and then just add filters that make sense for you. So, you know, common ideas here are premium. So we'll say premium is greater than, and we'll just say, I don't know, $250,000. Because, you know, you might want to filter out some smaller stuff. So you can say premium. You could say type is call or put. So if you just want calls or you just want puts. Another thing that you can try, tags. And you may want to say something like sweep. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. So let me do this again. So say 250. We'll say calls. And then we'll say tags contains all of sweep at underscore ask, and say apply. And so now what we're seeing is only bullish sweeps at the ask calls above 250K. In the dashboard, I'm experimenting with it, and I see that I can filter by specifying specific symbols. You can, but I was wondering if it were possible to use a watch list to filter instead of manually. Got it. So no, there isn't, but you could always go into your watch list. Well, I guess it depends on, I guess it depends on the watch list that you're using. So if I go to this and go to edit, I could just, if you're using a watch list that you made, you can edit it, copy paste the names from the list. but there is not a place to input a watch list here. So you're saying filter by watch list. That'd be kind of cool. Let me make a request for you. Okay, I made the request. I don't know if it's something that they'll, you know, add in any sort of short order, but we can make the request at the very least. That is a cool idea. For sure. For sure, those top mentioned lists are really interesting, right? Because they're giving you all of what's popping right now. I don't know if anybody saw that video that we released this weekend. Maybe that's why you're mentioning the top mentioned lists. If that's why, props to you for giving that video a watch. If you haven't, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna share it with you so that you have it. There's a new TA series video that we just put out this weekend. Watch that thing. Get them views up. Yeah, that is a cool idea, Newts. Ah, yeah, see? I had a feeling. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Trying to give you guys fun ways of utilizing the platform, some use cases, how to think about navigating around. Hopefully you see something in these videos that you hadn't seen before or you didn't know you could do. So what else, guys? Anything else that you're curious about? Got about 15 minutes left. Want to make sure that I answer any questions. There are a handful of you here, and I've only heard from about 3 of you. So I know that there are others of you watching, and if you're sitting there watching and you're thinking about something, and maybe you're a little nervous to ask, don't be nervous. Ask away. This is what this show is for. They can be very, very simple questions. They don't have to be super thorough. They don't have to even be super thought out. But if you're here to learn something, I assume. And I would love to make sure that everybody walks away with the thing that they needed. So do not be shy. Hit me with what you got. When are we going to get the ability to run auto scans, put scans on a timer? So that ability is kind of already here. It's not as functional as I would want it to be, but it's a step in the right direction. So let me show you this. We'll just do like one of these guys. So if you right click on your scan, if you right click on the 3, or not even right click, just click on the 3 dots and say run this scanner on a schedule. You can choose the dates that you want it to run, and then the time for each date that you want it to run. You do have to pick a single time. But yeah, pick what you want here and then say create, and it will send to your email. So every day you can have this thing scan the previous day or whatever, and then it'll send you what you need. Market depth. Well, so market depth is not really something that we offer here on the platform. I should change the name. Well, yeah, I know. What did we say we were going to call it, Larry? Charts and chill or something like that? Maybe I'll change it. So the closest thing that we have to market depth, there's a couple of tools, John. So I'm just going to put up a SPY chart here. I'm going to remove this. So when I think market depth, I think volume by price. And there are a handful of tools. So there's VBP, volume by price. Let me just change the column colors so that we can see this clearly. So this is volume by price. This shows us literally that, the volume at each individual price point from a particular point in time. Oh, well then maybe I don't know. Market depth? Do you mean market breadth? You might mean market breadth. Is that what you mean, sir? Ah, okay. So yeah, so market breadth, it depends on how you break it down. By default, it's set to 52-week high-low. You can use AD ratio above SMA 50, above SMA 20, new 14-day 2164. High 1421.63 low. Right? So essentially, if you're just utilizing it as is the preset, it's 52-week highs and lows. So it's looking for that, right? How many names of the index are making new 52-week highs? How many are making new 52-week lows? Which number is winning, right? Are there more names making new 52-week highs or more names making new 52-week lows? Is the 52-week highs list increasing while price is increasing? Is it decreasing while price is decreasing? That sort of thing, right? So generally speaking, as you're grinding higher, you want to see more and more stocks participating in that grind higher. So it's kind of like you're looking for divergences. Right, this is something that we noted. This is something that our friend JC from All Star Charts was talking about. You had that 52-week high list back in December, right here. And also do note, right, I'm on the SPY, I'm looking at the SPX 500. So you have to choose the list that you want to choose, or that you want to be looking at. You could use the NYSE composite here. We'll use that because it's actually taking up way more names. So you had this high in the 52-week highs list in December, right? We made a new, multi-year high back in December of last year, which has continued to ramp higher. But at that time, we kind of just made a new high relative to this one from July. So as you made that new high, you get this high in 52-week highs, meaning there are more names making 52-week highs than there have been this whole time, since like previous all-time highs back in January of 2024. You had more stocks making new 52-week highs here than you did over here. So this was a big sign that this move was legit, because you had new highs being made in price on the index, and you had a lot of names participating. But then what you saw, and the reason why folks who were paying attention to this were calling caution to it, was because that as price continued to grind higher, you saw this, right? You saw that new 52-week highs list was not increasing along with that grind higher. And generally speaking, what you would have really wanted to see is you would have wanted to see, as price went higher, you would have wanted to see this high go higher too, right? You want to see at least a continuation, not this like steep drop off like we saw. You saw this really steep drop off. And so, in theory, this steep drop off is relatively bearish, because how can an index continue making new all-time highs if the names within the index are not participating as well? That's kind of the thought. Well, now we're coming into, yeah, obviously we're at proper all-time highs now, and these numbers are increasing again. So despite this kind of being bearish initially, now you're starting to see it in the index, or you're starting to see it in the individual participation as well, that like lots of names are now making 52-week highs again. I don't think it suggests a bubble. No, I think it suggests just strength. In order for an index to continue higher, you need the more names that are participating within the index, are the more that idea is bolstered, right? The more you're showing proof. Why is this index going higher? Because more and more names within it are making new all-time highs or making new 52-week highs. And then you can whittle that down by shorter periods of time to look for, you know, kind of turns, changes. It's just the same as if you were going to use, you know, I don't know, a short-term moving average and a long-term moving average. You'd be looking for the short-term moving average to kind of suggest something, and then you'd be looking for the longer-term moving average to follow. So you can go across the board here and you can look and you can see. And remember, every time you switch indexes, you want to switch. Every time you switch index charts or ETF charts, whatever, you want to switch the index chart to go along with it. So now I've just switched this to the NASDAQ NMS. And, you know, the NMS is on the incline, right? The 52-week high. Oh, well, this is the 14-day highs list. Let's switch this to the 52-week. You see the same thing here. Back at the end of December, you had some highs. And now this is still struggling, right? Tech is still kind of struggling in that way. Breadth divergence, where you have less names within the NMS. Yeah, it's consistently making lower highs in that 52-week highs list, and yet it continues to drive higher. But when we were talking about the quarter end lists or the quarter end charts, we saw that too, right? The Qs simply was not as strong as the SPY. SPY was the big winner last quarter. SPY was the strongest index last quarter. So this breadth divergence here is still actually in place. You know, you're still continuing to make lower highs in tech while price continues to make higher highs. And perhaps this convergence will play out to the downside with a downside move. I'm not saying it's going to, because it could just as easily start making new 52-week highs. And this index has managed to continue to push higher. If you see this 52-week highs list increase, you know, if you start making a new high here, if it pushes and starts making more names are making new 52-week highs, that is telling you that the index probably should be continuing higher as well. That's how I think about it. And hopefully that makes sense. But this is certainly something to watch here on the on tech. Certainly something to watch. We can take a look at IWM and see what's going on with the Russell here. Yeah, so a little bit of divergence on the Russell still as well. Same look, you had those highs back towards the end of December, and the 52-week highs list has continued to fail to make new highs. Now you might have something here. You know, are they trying to break out? And what happens if they do, right? If this continues to push higher, more names within this index are making new 52-week highs. Well, the index is probably going to continue making new 52-week highs too. So that's how I'm looking at it. Right? That's how I would use it to analyze things. James, refresh me. Charting breadth. How do we do it? Is it just with those, ooh, cool. See, I told y'all. James knows his stuff. Everybody say hello to James. Interesting. Let me see. Let's switch this to a line chart. I guess that probably works the best, huh? Yeah, so here's your... It's essentially, it's the exact same... Well, I guess it's not the same. No, it is. It's the same chart. If I switch this to 21-day highs, we'll see the same thing. Yeah. So, can I do 52-week? Oh, Chewy, you don't? It might still be in beta just for us. For us employees. Shoot, I'm sorry. I thought that it was live. I guess it's not yet. I'll ask about that. I'll find out and see. Let me ask really quick. Chewy, I've just hit up our head dev to ask him about that for you. We'll see what he says. Ah, cool, James. Let me do this. So James, when you were back testing it, were you kind of like using this as part of your entry criteria for like a long strategy? If you got new higher highs being made on the new highs list? Ah. James, do we have a list of this anywhere? Presumably. Group. And so like, were you doing this? And what, you're just using price? Cross, got it. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, is there like a one sheet with all these data points that I'm missing somewhere? Oh, Chewy, we're about to find out. How about your question? Y'all, we are at an hour. This is last call for questions. If you got them, hit me with them. If you don't, that's okay too. We'll be back at it again here on Wednesday. Yeah, James, have you got anything as far as a spreadsheet that might be helpful? Okay, so Chewy, cannot give an estimate at this time. I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have shown you that. I hate to show you things that aren't production. All right, though, for real, last call, going once, going twice. This has been a fun session. Been cool. I've gotten to learn a little bit too. The teacher becoming the student. Feels good. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to our team. We have a live support team who's available Monday through Sunday, every single day of the week. There's somebody around who can answer a question for you. So although I'm only live a couple hours a week, these guys are available, I think it's like 20 hours a day during the week and about 8 hours a day on the weekend. It might be more than that these days, but James is a great resource. He's always around. And if you can't get a hold of James, you can get a hold of another guy on our team. Click on that contact us button and just ask your question. These guys can help you with all kinds of things, from explaining where things are on the platform to explaining how to script things. You know, if you got a strategy idea, you don't know how to script it, hit them up and they'll help you. Very, very helpful group of fellows that are there for you whenever you need them, for the most part. Again, it's the last day of our Easter sale, so take advantage of that. If you're not yet a TrendSpider trader, you've been thinking about jumping on board, getting yourself a subscription to the platform, there is not a better time than right now. So take advantage of the offer that we are offering, up to 64% off on those yearly accounts for your first year. Pretty great deal. If you guys need me between now and the next time I'm live, here you go. At Krutzky Trades on Twitter. Feel free to reach out to me. My DMs are open. I'm happy to answer questions. And yeah, this has been really cool. John, I think you are new here. I think you are. I don't recognize your name. If you've been here before and we've spoken and I forgot, I'm very sorry. Great to have you back. If it's your first time, thank you for being here. Thank you for asking questions. I appreciate it. Larry, great to see you again. Chewy, great to see you again. James, thank you for being here, helping out. Newts, great to see you. Great to meet you. Fleet Cap. Yeah, I think that's everybody that said hello today. So with that, oh, hold on. There's somebody else. John, how does one test a strategy but only trades in comparison to dollar cost averaging where shares aren't sold? It's not possible, John. Gosh, I'm sorry. You asked me this a while ago and I totally missed it. I apologize. Strategy tester is one in, one out. I mean, well, maybe you actually, you know what? Maybe you could. I wonder, James, I wonder if you've played around with this. This seems like something you would have played around with. Like if you just went long at the start of every month and you never exit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can, because you can't re-enter. You have to exit to get back into something. So even if you had an entry as like buy the first, yeah, I don't think it's possible. But maybe that date time indicator will open it up eventually. I don't know. John, I'm sorry I can't give you more on that. Girl Trader, what's up? That's okay that you got in late. Feel free to rewatch it. We went over a handful of items today that you might find interesting. So yeah, all right. Well, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you today. Thank you so much for being here, starting your Monday off right with a little bit of TrendSpider education. Like I said, if you need anything else from us, feel free to hit up the team, or you can hit me up on Twitter. Until next time, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, do it. Give this video a like. And if you're not yet a TrendSpider trader, take advantage of that Easter deal. It's a killer one. And there won't be another one for a little while. So take advantage of it if you're interested. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Monday. Trade them well. And we will see you again on Wednesday. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan. Don't hold me to it, but more than likely Wednesday. All right? All right, guys. Take care. Bye.